Tailwind CSS or Custom CSS? Which one should you learn or stick to in 2025? Tailwind's utility-first approach has taken over Dev Twitter and GitHub stars, but traditional CSS still powers the entire web. In this video, we're breaking down the pros, cons, real-world use cases, and performance of both. And by the end, you'll know exactly which one is right for your next project. The paradigm shift in styling. Tailwind CSS flips the traditional CSS workflow on its head. It's utility first, which means, instead of writing styles in a style sheet, you compose them directly in your HTML using atomic classes. This button is built entirely from Tailwind's utility palette. Each class does one job: background, hover effect, font weight, padding, border radius, and shadow. It's modular. Think of it like composing UI in code, one class at a time. On the other hand, Custom CSS is the OG. You write the styles yourself, structured your way, using classes and selectors as you see fit. Now compare that to traditional CSS separation of concerns. Here, the markup stays clean, and the logic lives in the style sheet. This makes sense in component-driven systems or legacy codebases where semantic naming and separation are crucial. Let's talk productivity. Tailwind shines when you're building fast, consistent UIs. Instead of jumping between HTML and CSS files, you're working in one place. This can dramatically reduce development time. Component-based dev thrives on reuse. Tailwind gives us tools like @apply, which allow grouping of utilities into named classes, kinda like custom CSS shortcuts, but inside the Tailwind engine. This gives you maintainability without abandoning Tailwind's atomic nature. You're still fast, but now dry and scalable. Ideal for teams shipping design systems. Contrast this with a BEM-style setup in traditional CSS. With BEM, you're getting self-documenting class names. Great for large teams and legacy audits. It forces intentional naming and readable architecture. Now, let's talk about scaling projects. With custom CSS, especially if you use BEM or a structured naming convention, your code can be super readable and reusable. Tailwind can get repetitive unless you're using components, partials, or @apply in a proper workflow. Let's say you're building an invoice card. Tailwind's version looks like this. Visually clean. But it's dense. New devs might struggle to parse what's going on without dissecting every class. Compare that with semantic markup and scoped CSS. Easier to audit, especially in a team. And for long-term maintenance, semantic naming wins. You don't need a style guide to guess what .invoice title does. This is where Tailwind really wins. With purge CSS and tree shaking, your final CSS file can be as small as 4 kilobytes. Tailwind uses a JIT engine and purge layers. At build time, it strips out unused styles, which means a production file that's razor thin. We're talking 10 KB for a large UI, depending on usage. With traditional CSS, unused classes often linger. Unless you're optimizing with purge CSS, things bloat fast. Next comes dev experience and ecosystem. This is where Tailwind shines in. You're building fast, with confidence. And honestly, for solo devs or startups, this is gold. But if you're neck-deep in SCSS, design tokens, or enterprise-level design systems, custom CSS gives you more room to breathe. Tailwind is a scalpel, efficient, fast, and precise. Custom CSS is a brush, expressive, deliberate, and scalable in teams. Use Tailwind if you're building MVPs, landing pages, you want component-driven speed, you're a solo dev, freelancer, or small team. Use custom CSS if you're working on a design system from scratch, you need strict control over semantics, you're integrating with legacy or enterprise systems. It's not either or. It's knowing when to reach for which. Hybrid workflows are real. Great devs don't argue tools, they architect solutions. So, which is better? If you're starting out, Tailwind can boost your confidence and speed. If you're building something long-term, with design teams or large codebases, custom CSS might give you more clarity and power. Personally, I use both, depending on the project. What do you use, Tailwind or Custom CSS? Drop your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. More design and dev tutorials coming your way every week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time with something else, something new.